So today we're going to look at creating annotated bibliographies. For your research project, you are required to create 6 of them. One from the Occupational Outlook Handbook, entry about your career, and 5 others from the EBSCO articles, unless you find other sources that I approve first. The reason that we're focusing in on the EBSCO articles is because you will need to have scholarly research with sources cited within the articles. So if you will, I want you to open up your 2020 Technical Writing Research Paper Project document located in Monday, November 30th's post, topic, and thesis statement. When you open it, I want you to go to page 5. Has everyone gotten to page 5 of the 2020 Technical Writing Research Paper Project document? Okay, so on this page is an example of an annotated bibliography entry. It's written in MLA format. If you notice, you have the student name, then the teacher name. Where it says English 4, of course, you'd put technical writing, and the date that they're due. Now, entries 1 through 3 are due on the first day, and 4 through 6 are due on the second day. And those dates are on the board. They're also been sent to you in a Google Classroom post. Then you have the title of your paper, followed by a colon, and the words "an annotated bibliography." Then you have the source written in MLA format, citation for like the works cited entry. Now, you're going to have 2 paragraphs below that. It's all single spaced from here on out. Now, the 2 paragraphs, the first one is a summary. In other words, you read through your source and you write down what it's about. 4 or 5 sentences max. Then, after the brief summary, you do just as it says in paragraphs 2 and 3 on this page, but I prefer it all to be in the second paragraph. After a brief summary, it would be appropriate to assess this source and offer some criticisms of it. Does it seem like a reliable and current source? In other words, how long ago was it published? The Occupational Outlook Handbook is updated regularly on the website, and you really need sources probably within the last 10 or 15 years about your career. Why? Is the research biased or objective? Are the facts well documented? Who is the author? Is he or she qualified in this subject? Is the source scholarly, popular, or some of both? So in other words, if it's a scholarly article, there are going to be lists of sources that the author used at the end of the source, and you're going to want to find those scholarly articles. Now, we count the Occupational Outlook Handbook as a scholarly source because, and this is very important, it is a source from the government. So let's say you have the Occupational Outlook Handbook, you try to find EBSCO sources and you can't, or you can't find enough of them that would be worth working into your paper. .gov sources are okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that .gov and .org sources are okay. .com sources, you would need to meet with me and we would have to go over them to determine whether or not they would be appropriate sources for your paper. The length of your annotation will depend on the assignment or on the purpose of your annotated bibliography. After summarizing and assessing, you can now reflect on this source. How does it fit into your research? Are you going to be able to use it in your paper? Yes, some of the ones that you have for your annotated bibliography may not be useful in your paper. That is perfectly okay. If it is going to be used in your paper, if it is going to be helpful, is it too scholarly? Is it not scholarly enough? Is it too general? Or is it too specific? And their example is stem cell research. So since stem cell research is a very broad topic, has this source helped you to maybe narrow your topic or addressed one of those 3 components of your thesis statement? Because remember, those 3 components are going to be the major points of your paper. They're what you're going to address in your research paper. Now, if you go to the Annotated Bibliography 1 through 3 post or the Annotated Bibliography 4 through 6 post, you have a document that's either called Annotated Bibliography 1 through 3 or Annotated Bibliography 4 through 6, as well as a post or a source called Lefebvre Annotated Bib 1 Annotation Example. I went ahead and put the source numbers in so you didn't have to worry about them. Now, your annotated bibliographies 1 through 3, again, are due on that first due date. But I will tell you this, you're going to want to put it off. You're going to want to drag your feet about this. But I will tell you this, after you complete the first annotated bibliography entry, the rest of them go much more smoothly because you're already in that groove, that process to complete them. Unless you completed them in a previous class, and I don't think anybody in here did, this will be the first time you've ever done them. So it is a new type of writing to get used to. So let's look at the annotation example. The beauty of the annotation example is that I circle and draw an arrow and tell you what you need to do. And it's in red. You can't miss it. So if you address each of those items, you're good to go. Now, the annotation example has the same text as each of the pages in the annotated bibliography 1 through 3 and annotated bibliography 4 through 6. Each of those is 3 pages long, one for each source. And again, I already numbered the sources for you. In years past, everybody else had to change the number every time they did a new source. I didn't want to have to do that. I didn't want to have to open up 3 different documents, actually a total of 6 different documents for each person. So I streamlined it for you, but I also streamlined it for me. So the first thing you're going to replace is you're going to replace John Smith with your name. You don't have to change my name. You don't have to change technical writing. However, if you're in business English and you're listening to this, you're going to have to change it to business English. You do have to change the date. Again, 1 through 3. I want the date not to be today's date or whatever day you complete each of the entries. I want it to be on the due date. Can you turn it in early? Yes, please do so if you finish. In fact, especially if you get started on the first one, you get 1 through 3 done after completing the first one. 2 and 3 are going to go really quickly. And you're like, okay, well, I might as well just keep going and complete 4 through 6. You're going to replace the word teacher with the career that you chose. And we're going to get back to this star in a second, but I want to look at the 2 paragraphs. Now, the first one, as I said, is a summary of the article. The second one goes into the source itself. How good of a source is it? Is it going to be useful? You're going to explain whether you can use the source or not. If you can, you're going to want to explain what information from the article is useful. And if you can't, it's, again, perfectly okay. Explain why you can't use it. You're also going to provide a review and explanation of the sources the author of the article used. Some of them may not have them. You know, those .org, .gov sources may not have a list of sources. That's fine. But let's go back to that star. Now notice that star deals with the works cited citation. For the citation, you're going to search for the article in EBSCO. You're going to click on the article title, not the PDF full text or the HTML full text. On the right sidebar, you're going to click the Cite option, that's CITE, and in the top window that appears, which is the Citation Format window, you're going to use the inbox scroll bar to scroll down to MLA. The different handbooks are in alphabetical order. And then you're going to copy and paste that citation. You're going to paste it over the example citation. So I'm just going to show you very quickly after we scroll back up. Again, this is where your citation goes. So as I was saying, I'm simply going to show you the example, and 4 through 6 is exactly the same except the source numbers change. But again, it's the exact same text as the example. You just have to type over it or copy and paste over it. So you're going to change those elements that are circled, have arrows drawn to the directions on how to change them in red, or with the exception of the works cited citation has the star beside it. Remember that if you have any questions, please talk to me about any issues that you have, any questions that you have related to the annotated bibliographies in particular and your paper in general. Also, this video is posted to Classroom for a reason. You can go back and watch the video. Please go back and watch the video. If you're at home and you're working on the annotated bibliographies and you're confused by something, please watch the video again. If the video doesn't explain it, then email me, contact me, do whatever it takes. I don't want you to end up confused in this project.